And right now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is in Tallahassee holding a briefing on the storm. Let's listen.
Thank you for coming for our FEMA regional coordinator. As of 11 a.m., the storm is located roughly 375 miles south of Key West, and it's moving north-northwest at about 14 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds are now up to 80 miles an hour, and it moves into the Gulf, where it's expected to strengthen into a major hurricane in the eastern Gulf of Mexico as early as tomorrow. It will bring heavy rains, strong winds, flash flooding, storm surge, along with isolated tornado activity along Florida's Gulf Coast. Floridians up and down the Gulf Coast should feel the impacts of this as up to 36 hours before actual landfall due to the size of the hurricane. This is a really, really big hurricane at this point. The diameter, the width of it's about 500 miles wide. So if you look at the cone, and if you look at where they have the landfall going, I think the landfall is still Levy County. The impacts are going to be much, much broader than that. Of course, that track is still uncertain. It could absolutely wobble further into the peninsula or even further away from the peninsula. You will see storm surge in places like Southwest Florida, even though the storm is projected to be 100 or 150 miles off the coast of Southwest Florida. And so you look in Collier County, they've already issued voluntary evacuations for some of their coastal communities because the storm surge is likely to be significant given how big the storm is. A tropical storm warning has been issued for a portion of the Florida Keys from the 7-mile bridge south to Key West. Hurricane and tropical storm watches have been issued from Inglewood south to Naples. We also have storm surge watches in effect from Pinellas County down to the Florida Keys. Those watches are anticipated to become warnings later today. Now, some counties have begun issuing evacuation orders or voluntary evacuations. The important thing for people to know is to know the zone that you're in. You will have counties probably throughout this morning and into this afternoon identifying areas that are vulnerable for evacuation, so you should anticipate that if you're on counties in Florida's Gulf Coast. Of course, as you go further north in Florida, there is a little bit more time before those decisions have to be made. So as we get into the northern Florida and into the Panhandle, those decisions may not be today, but certainly for Southwest and Tampa Bay, be on the lookout for that, because I know we've been conferring with a lot of the local officials that those are going to happen. The way to go is to go to floridadisaster.org/plan-prepare. floridadisaster.org/plan-prepare. That will be able to allow you to look to see whether you are in an evacuation zone. And so if they do call for an evacuation of, say, Zone A, and you're in Zone A, then you know that, and you can take the appropriate action. The Florida Department of Transportation is now suspending tolls at facilities in the Tampa Bay area, the Polk Parkway in Polk County, Mid-Bay Bridge in Okaloosa, Spence Parkway in Okaloosa, Garcon Point Bridge in Santa Rosa, and of course all the Tampa Bay area, Pinellas Byway, Sunshine Skyway, Selman Expressway, I-4 connector in Hillsborough, as well as Alligator Alley down in Collier into Broward counties. And as we continue to monitor the path of Hurricane Ian, we may do more toll suspensions in other parts of the state if that is warranted. Some school districts have announced school closures for this upcoming week, and you may see more as the track becomes more certain. If you want to look at the most updated information regarding schools, you can get that at fldoe.org/storminfo. That's fldoe.org/storminfo. The Florida National Guard has activated 5,000 Florida Guardsmen, as well as 2,000 additional Guardsmen from Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina that have been activated to help. We've also have 5 urban search and rescue teams that are activated. We have Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission mobilized and ready to support needed efforts. And of course, the U.S. Coast Guard is also willing and able to assist in both preparation and response. Of course, we've declared a state of emergency for the entire state, given the uncertainty that exists. Of course, as we go every hour, we get a little bit more certainty in the general area, and we know that this is going to have major impacts on Florida's Gulf Coast. We've issued waivers of weight restrictions prescriptions for commercial trucks to ensure we have ample fuel and resources coming into Florida. Make sure you're prepared. There's no need to panic buy. If you normally don't drink a lot of water, you may not need to go out and buy 20 gallons of water right now. So just do what you need to be prepared. We've been in contact with some of the major retailers like Publix and Walmart. They are constantly resupplying. I know Publix did way more than they normally do, and a lot of that is flying off the shelves. But just know there's an effort to be made to make sure that those shelves are restocked as quickly as possible. We've also authorized emergency refills of maintenance prescriptions for 30 days, and we'd anticipate anyone as part of your hurricane preparedness plan, make sure you have the prescriptions that you need. We've also been in contact with the major utilities throughout the state of Florida, particularly those that are servicing the Gulf Coast of Florida, FP&L, Duke Energy, TECO, the municipal electric providers, as well as the rural electrical co-ops. And I can tell you, between all of those, I mean, there are tens of thousands of people that are staged and that are going to be ready to go when the storm passes to try to get power restored. But folks should be prepared if you're in this region that there is going to be an interruption of power. So just plan on that. Understand that will happen. Even if the storm, the eye of the storm doesn't hit your region, you're going to have really significant winds. It's going to knock over trees. It's going to cause interruptions. And so that's just the name of the game. So just be prepared for that. And then they have the resources in place where, of course, that's going to be a priority once it's safe to go in there and get as much power back on as quickly as possible. Make sure that you have your plan in place. Finish whatever preparations you have. I mean, this thing is coming this week, and we know that, and we know we're going to have some major impacts throughout the state of Florida. We have at the department here for emergency management received 338 requests for assistance from local counties. 293 of those have already been fulfilled, and others are on the way. We've deployed 210 medical professionals to Hillsborough County special needs shelters and another 120 to surrounding counties. We have 300 ambulances supporting special needs evacuations in the Tampa Bay area, and hundreds of generators and pumps have also been staged in the Tampa Bay area to prepare for the flooding that we're anticipating. So please continue to monitor your local weather service for updates. Make sure that you're commencing your storm preparations. Visit floridadisaster.org/get-a-plan to see some of the things that may need to be done. For all you new Floridians who haven't been through one of these before, just understand, just remain calm. There's no need to panic. Listen to the folks at the local level. Listen to what they advise in terms of preparations, any evacuations. If you are going to be in your home when the power goes out and you have one of the generators, just understand those generators must be operated outside the home. Every year, we tend to have people that operate it inside their home. You will get poisoning from carbon monoxide, and we have fatalities for that. In fact, we've had more fatalities in recent storms from the use of the generators than we've had from the direct impact of the storm itself. So just understand, it's great to have a generator. Obviously, we live in a very connected world. People want to have that power on, and I understand that, and I do too. But make sure it's used properly, and that exhaust has got to be going outside your home. Do not let that come inside your home. So we're continuing to work with communities at the local level. I've been able to speak with a number of the folks today. We're going to continue to work to support their plans. Obviously, at this point, we want everyone to be safe. You have a significant storm that may end up being a Category 4 hurricane, and I know they say it may slow down by the time it reaches landfall, but if you have that off the west coast of Florida, that's going to cause a huge amount of storm surge. You're going to have flood events. You're going to have a lot of different impacts from that. So we want everybody to be safe. We want people to weather the storm, and that ultimately is the most important thing. Property damage and these things, it's terrible that would happen in a storm, but we can fix that and we can help rebuild. But you got to take care of yourself, and we want to make sure everybody is safe. Of course, as the storm hits and in the immediate aftermath, we have all these resources that are staged, from our Guard to Fish and Wildlife, search and rescue, to be able to help people that are in need. And then, of course, once the dust settles, there's a premium on restoring power, fuel, communication, so that people can resume normalcy as soon as possible.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.